The day the locks were changed was the day everything broke. At exactly 6 in the morning, while the sky was still grey and quiet, old Mama Grace stood outside her room with her small metal box in her hands. Inside that box were her late husband's photos, her church scarf, and the little money she had saved. But the door would not open. A new shiny padlock hung there like a warning, and from the balcony above, a sharp voice shouted, "If you don't have the balance, you don't enter my house." That was the voice everyone in the compound feared, Madame Rose. She owned the small building at the edge of town, 6 tiny rooms, 1 broken tap, 1 flickering light in the hallway. But she acted like she owned the whole world. Every month she increased the rent. Every week she shouted at someone. Every day someone cried. No one dared to speak. Until that morning. Mama Grace did not shout back. She did not insult. She simply sat on the cold ground and held her metal box close to her chest. Her neighbor, young Amina, watched from her doorway. Amina was a single mother with 2 little boys. She sold vegetables at the market. Madame Rose had threatened her many times too. Pay before the 5th or leave. Your children make noise. You people are too poor. Amina had always stayed quiet. Everyone had. But something about seeing Mama Grace sitting there broke her heart. She walked slowly to her. "Mama, come and sit inside my room first," Amina said softly. Before Mama Grace could answer, another door opened. It was Daniel. Daniel was a mechanic, strong, quiet, always covered in oil from work. He rarely spoke, but he saw everything. He looked at the lock. He looked at Mama Grace. Then he looked up at the balcony where Madame Rose stood with her wrapper tied tightly around her waist. "This is wrong," Daniel said calmly. Madame Rose laughed. "If you don't like my house, you can leave too." Daniel did not argue. He simply helped Mama Grace carry her box into Amina's room. That day something shifted. For years, each tenant had suffered alone. Now they began to talk. That evening, as the sun turned orange, the tenants gathered behind the building near the mango tree. Amina spoke first. Her voice shook. She added extra money to my rent last month and said it was for security. "What security?" Daniel nodded. "She never fixes anything. The tap has been leaking for 3 months. A young teacher named Sam added, "She keeps our deposits when we leave. She says we damaged the walls." Mama Grace wiped her tears. "I have paid every month for 5 years. Only this month I was short by 2 days." Silence fell. Then Daniel said the words no one had ever dared to say. "What if we stand together?" They looked at each other. Fear was there. But so was something new. Hope. The next morning, Madame Rose came down the stairs, ready to shout again. But she stopped. All 6 tenants were standing in the compound. Together, Daniel stepped forward. "We want our contracts in writing," Amina added. "We want proper notice before any rent increase," Sam said. "And you cannot lock someone out without warning. It is against the law." Madame Rose's eyes widened. "Who is teaching you all this nonsense?" "We are not fighting you," Daniel said calmly. "We just want fairness." For the first time, Madame Rose had no quick insult ready. Because it is easy to bully one person, it is hard to bully 6. She tried to shout, but her voice did not sound as strong. "You think you can threaten me?" "No," Amina said gently. "We are protecting each other." And then something unexpected happened. Old Mama Grace stood up straight. Her voice was soft, but it carried power. "Rose, when your husband died, we contributed money for his burial. When you were sick last year, Amina cooked for you. We are not your enemies. We are human. Those words landed like stones in water. For a long moment, no one spoke. Madame Rose looked around the compound, at the cracked walls, at the leaking tap, at the faces she had ignored for years. Something in her expression changed. No one knew her story. No one knew that after her husband died, debt swallowed her. Fear turned her heart hard. She believed if she became strict, she would survive. But somewhere along the way, strict became cruel. Her voice trembled. I will open the door. She walked upstairs and removed the lock from Mama Grace's room, slowly, without shouting. That afternoon, she called everyone together. I was wrong to lock the door, she said quietly. From now on, rent increases will be discussed first, and I will fix the tap this week. The tenants exchanged looks of surprise. Change did not happen overnight. Madame Rose still had a sharp tongue sometimes, but she no longer acted like a tyrant. And the tenants no longer lived in fear. They created a small tenants group. They saved money together for emergencies. They supported each other. The compound, once filled with silent tears, slowly filled with laughter. And Mama Grace? She kept her metal box safely inside her room. But she no longer held it tightly in fear, because she knew something powerful. Evil grows when people are divided. But when a community stands together, even the hardest heart can soften. And that was the day the evil landlady finally met her match. Not in anger, not in violence, but in unity.